the sterile scent of antiseptic, and the rhythmic beeping of monitors were the soundtrack to Adonis's life. At 36, he was a senior nurse that calm within the chaos of the hospital ward. His voice could soothe fear, and his hands never trembled, even in the most critical moments. To everyone, he was reliable, cheerful Adonis, the unshakable pillar of the ward. But behind that steady smile, Adonis was quietly unraveling. His greatest strength, his compassion, was also his greatest weakness. He simply couldn't say no. Every single favor, every request, felt like a test of his kindness, and he absolutely refused to fail. His mind never rested. Every glance, every word replayed in his head on a loop. He feared disappointing others far more than exhaustion itself. He lived for connection, yet he craved silence. And in that silence, his anxiety grew louder and louder. It was a Wednesday night, the end of his third consecutive 12-hour shift. His body was screaming for rest. But then, a voice cut through the quiet hallway. "Adonis, please, can you cover my shift? My sitter just cancelled." The courtroom in his mind went into session immediately. If he said no, they'd think he was selfish. If he said yes, he felt like he might actually break. He smiled. The same tired smile everyone knew. "Of course," he said. "Don't worry about a thing." Hours later, as he was checking a patient's vitals, the numbers on the screen began to blur. His own pulse started to race. The beeping of the monitor grew louder and louder until it was all he could hear. Cold sweat, shaking hands, a crush and tightness in his chest. "I'm having a heart attack," he thought. The irony was almost cruel. A nurse becoming the patient. But when the tests came back, they were clear. It wasn't a heart attack, it was a panic attack, and it was one that would change everything. After that night, fear became his shadow. He'd wake up at 3 a.m., his hand pressed against his chest, checking his pulse, convinced that something was terribly wrong. He lost weight. He lost sleep. He was losing himself. Then, another wave of panic struck, this time at home. His family rushed him to the ER again, their faces etched with worry. The doctor who saw him had kind eyes. "Adonis," she said gently, "you triage emergencies every single day, right? You stabilize others. You make a plan. Now, you have to do that for yourself." She leaned forward, her voice firm but compassionate. "This anxiety feels like a fire alarm. But it's a false one. You can't just silence it, but you can learn to control it." For the first time in a long time, he didn't feel broken. He felt capable. He had helped so many others find their way back to health. Now, it was his turn to help himself. Adonis began his own healing journey. He started to practice setting boundaries, taking small steps, one no at a time. "Thank you so much for asking," he'd say, "but I just don't have the capacity for that right now." The guilt was heavy at first, but the feeling of relief that followed was freeing. He learned to ground himself, to press his feet firmly to the floor, to breathe deeply through the rising panic, and to let silence become a source of strength that recharged his soul. He didn't cure his anxiety, he made peace with it. He accepted it as a part of who he is. Today, Adonis is still the same compassionate nurse everyone relies on, but now, his compassion finally includes himself, and in that quiet strength, he found his freedom. Thank you for watching Adonis' story. If this resonated with you, please consider liking this video and subscribing to our channel for more content that matters. Your support helps us share these important conversations.